Tonight on NewsVision, President Trump in hot water after an aggressive speech at the United Nations targeting other countries' borders.
It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now.
Plus, we will tell you how one garden in Miami helps locals in South Florida connect with nature and help with food insecurity.
I'm honored that I can be a garden director and continue that.
And later on, the Hurricanes managed to stop the Chomp at Hard Rock Stadium during an electric game against the University of Florida. We will tell you what's next for the Cardiac Canes.
I'm here to be hyped for the Hurricanes!
All this and a lot more on tonight's episode. And it starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of NewsVision. I'm Amanda Muhammad.
And I'm Warren Harrington. Thank you for joining us. One detainee is dead and two more are in serious condition following a shooting on Wednesday morning at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement field office in Dallas, Texas. The FBI is investigating the deadly incident as an act of targeted violence. No law enforcement officers were injured. Outside a Dallas ICE facility, multiple gunshots rang out Wednesday morning as a woman waited in her car for her mom to finish an immigration appointment. The Department of Homeland Security says a, quote, sniper identified by sources as a 29-year-old Joshua Jan fired at the ICE facility from a nearby rooftop, shooting 3 detainees and then himself. Officials have given little information about a possible motive. Yet Vice President J.D. Vance blamed inflammatory rhetoric from Democratic leaders and the media.
The Customs Enforcement facility was opened fire upon by a violent left-wing extremist, a person who wrote anti-ICE messaging on their bullets, and there's some evidence that we have that's not yet public, but we know this person was politically motivated.
Republican Senator Ted Cruz called for an end to political violence.
To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop.
This shooting was at least the 4th instance of violence or threat at an ICE or Customs and Border Protection facility in Texas this year. One of those instances was a bomb threat in August at the same facility where Wednesday's shooting took place. Earlier today, the FBI said the suspect acted alone and was not affiliated to any group. Federal officials said the attack was months in the making. They added that a handwritten note was left by the shooter which expressed hatred for the federal government.
During Wednesday's United Nations General Assembly, President Trump gave an hour-long speech where he repeatedly insulted the organization. In the speech, Trump mocked the UN headquarters building, questioned the purpose of the organization, and bragged about his own accomplishments. Most notably, he criticized countries over their open border immigration policies.
It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
The speech received mixed reactions, with some world leaders agreeing with Trump's criticism of European countries buying Russian oil, with Trump saying they're essentially funding the war against themselves. Others disagreed with his rhetoric while addressing the entire world.
And speaking of Trump, his presidential library has its sights set on downtown Miami. Taryn Jacobs is live in downtown Miami at the location where the future library could be. Taryn, is there a specific reason why this location is being discussed?
Lauren, right here next to the Freedom Tower is where we may see the presidential library replace this parking lot behind me. Now, the Freedom Tower has played a significant role in helping Cuban refugees migrate to Florida. And on Tuesday, the Miami-Dade College Board of Trustees voted to transfer this land to the state of Florida to begin the process. According to the state, this land is 2.6 acres in the heart of downtown Miami. If it is chosen for the library, it would be a museum to hold the archives of President Trump's 2 terms. Sources even told the Miami Herald that it could include the $400 million jet that the White House got from Qatar for free to be housed here at the end of his term. But downtown Miami was not the only possible location for the library. Earlier this year, President Trump was looking at Florida Atlantic University to get the library, and also Florida International University tried to convince the president that their campus was a good site for it as well. Roberto Alonso, who is the vice chairman for the Miami-Dade College Board of Trustees, said that this is a prime location for the library.
I definitely feel like this is a huge win for Miami and our state. This is something that's going to bring tourism. It's going to bring educational opportunities where we can have discourse between students and learning about the office of the president.
Governor DeSantis agrees with this, and his cabinet will vote on the proposal to build the library right here. Now, the proposal is expected to pass unanimously. However, the ultimate decision lies with Trump and his administration. Reporting live from downtown Miami, Taryn Jacobs, UMTV.
Thank you, Taryn. In more Trump news, the president has linked acetaminophen, which is a common pain reliever, to autism. Trump said his administration will notify doctors about what it says can be, quote, a very increased risk of autism. And a pregnant woman's use of acetaminophen, the pain reliever, is commonly known by the brand name Tylenol. Trump and several members of his health team made the announcement at the White House on Monday.
There's no downside. Don't take it. You'll be uncomfortable. It won't be as easy, maybe, but don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. And don't give it to the baby after the baby is born.
However, health experts stress that studies on the possible connection remain limited and more research is needed before drawing conclusions. Medical officials continue to urge parents not to panic, emphasizing that acetaminophen remains safe when taken as directed. They say the drug has been safely used for decades to help with fever and pain, and warn that suddenly stopping it could actually be riskier for kids who need it.
Ryan Ruth, the man who tried to assassinate Donald Trump in 2024 at his West Palm Beach golf club, has been found guilty on all charges. Ruth now faces up to life in prison. As the guilty verdict was read, Ruth reportedly tried to use a pen to stab himself in the neck. At the time of the attempt, Trump was a presidential candidate. Ruth hid it in bushes on the Trump-owned golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. After the U.S. Secret Service noticed the rifle poking out of the bushes, they shot at him. Ruth attempted to run away from the golf course, but was arrested nearby.
We will take a short break now, but don't go anywhere, because coming up next, Jimmy Kimmel has made his highly anticipated return to his late-night comedy show. And we will take a walk with one organization here on campus that promotes suicide awareness one step at a time. Stay with us.
After being abruptly suspended for criticism over comments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the Jimmy Kimmel Live returned Tuesday night. Federal Communications Commission Chair Brendan Carr and networks of affiliate stations had threatened ABC over the remarks, but many came together to protest the suspension, calling it an assault on free speech. During his opening monologue, Kimmel thanked his supporters, tried to clarify his Kirk comments, and defended free speech.
I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't.
Jimmy Kimmel Live Tuesday episode racked up 6.3 million viewers. That's 3 times the show's typical traditional TV viewership. And Kimmel's 28-minute monologue is now his most watched monologue on YouTube, with more than 15 million views.
A special guest made a stop at the university last week. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor visited campus to discuss her new book called Just Shine. Sotomayor read parts of her book in front of a crowd of more than 400 people at the Shalala Student Center. The event was a partnership with the Books and Books organization and the University of Miami School of Law. The justice says the book details her mother's life before her passing in 2020. Some students said the event was more than just a reading and called it a significant moment for open dialogue on campus.
This event promotes free speech. she's very, very vocal in, her dissents and the way that she thinks, and her entire platform has been about free speech and how that right needs to be preserved.
Attendees had the chance to meet Sotomayor and received a signed copy of her book. Lauren, I've got to say, I am so done with this rain.
I know, it has been terrible, and it's supposed to get even worse throughout the week. But meteorologist William DePaula is here live in studio to tell us more about some potential weather coming our way. William?
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, that rain is going to be sticking around with us here in Miami. We see that rain that was bothering us here earlier today. Luckily, that's going to be out of here. If you have any late night plans, we should be dry. It's going to stay like that for tomorrow morning. During that morning commute, once again, it's going to be dry. But unfortunately, as we look at tomorrow evening, that evening commute as you're going home for your weekend, those thunderstorms are going to be popping back up right here in the Miami area. So it's going to be a damp morning commute. Luckily, any late night plans will be dry once again and into early Saturday morning. But then that afternoon, if you have any outdoor plans, have a backup plan, you might need to head inside as those thunderstorms that we're so used to down here in South Florida do pop up once again. As we take a look at the tropics, it's actually been a pretty quiet year so far, just past peak hurricane season, but unfortunately it is starting to heat back up again. As you see all the way over here by the Iberian Peninsula, we have what used to be Hurricane Gabrielle that is weakening and moving off over there away from the U.S., not an issue for us here. And then we have these two storms. This is newly formed tropical storm Umberto, and then we have Invest 94L, which we would need to be worrying about. As we take a look at Tropical Storm Umberto, it is currently a 60-mile-an-hour tropical storm, but it is unfortunately expected to strengthen over the next couple days to a hurricane and then a major hurricane. Luckily, it should not be directly impacting the U.S. However, along those coastal areas, we might be dealing with rip currents and increased surf. Now, as we take a look at Invest 94L, this will most likely be our next named storm. There's a high % chance of developing. This will be Imelda, and unfortunately, this could directly impact the U.S. We see the spaghetti models taking it over the Bahamas and then paralleling us here in Miami and bringing it up into the Carolinas. So this is definitely going to be something we want to be paying attention to over the next week. And as we look at our 7-day forecast, we have those rain chances continuing for this week and into early next week, along with those temperatures remaining in those high 80s.
Thank you, William. And if the weather permits, you can visit one of Coconut Grove's best-kept secrets that is getting ready to open its doors to more visitors. The garden is called the Kampong, and Madeline Darby is live there to tell us more. Madeline?
Amanda, as you can see behind me, the Kampong is hidden behind these red gates, making it look off limits to the public. Despite being in Coconut Grove for over a century, most people don't even know it's here. Now, the garden is taking steps to change that, starting with opening these gates.
Thousands of drivers pass the Kampong sign on South Douglas Road in Miami every day, but few know what's hiding behind the rustic red gates. That's about to change. The 9-acre botanical garden is where David Fairchild and his wife Marion Fairchild began planting exotic fruit trees and medicinal plants in 1916. Introducing new species to the U.S. such as mangoes, dates, and avocados. For decades, the Kampong was mostly used for weddings and special events, but it now focuses on education and outreach, working with students from pre-K to college. And leading the charge to share the land's history is new director, Dr. Brian Sadati.
I do take the legacy very seriously and am honored that I can be a garden director and continue that, whether that be through really cool plant displays or art exhibitions or letting students experience the garden as like a living laboratory.
One current project has University of Miami architecture students designing a medicinal garden to honor Miami's first female physician, Eleanor Simmons, who once practiced on the land.
So it's their design, because we can't recreate what she had, but we can kind of tell the story of what she did through this garden space.
And stories like these teach students how to care for the land and use it as a resource to give back. Just last year, the Kampong donated more than 12,000 pounds of fresh produce to the Coconut Grove Crisis Food Pantry.
David Fairchild would be so proud to know that the seeds, the literal seeds that he planted so many years ago, 100 years ago, are still here, and they are nourishing the residents of Coconut Grove who are challenged with food insecurity.
Besides its mission to continue serving the Coconut Grove community, the new leadership is trying to make the garden more inviting, with themed family nights, local artist collaborations, and membership discounts.
The Campong, I think, really being at this critical stage where it could have continued in this kind of closed off path, or is you kind of kick the door down.
And kicking the door down isn't just a figure of speech. Plans are underway for a new entrance kiosk to keep the gates open during the day, and even a food stand out front to draw more visitors. But these changes are about more than access. They're about preserving a legacy.
I think it's really important to understand the land where we are and how it came to look the way it does and who were the people that shaped it. Because I think when we understand that, we realize that we're one part of that arc of history.
It's a reminder that the seeds Fairchild planted continue to thrive, nourishing the community and inspiring the next generation to protect and preserve Coconut Grove.
Right now, visitors need to use a call box to get inside, but soon the public will be able to walk right in. There's no set date for when the gates will be open, but until then, anyone can stop by and experience everything that the Campong has to offer. Live in Coconut Grove, Madeline Darby, UMTV.
Thank you, Madeline. September is National Suicide Awareness Month, and this past Monday, many University of Miami student organizations came together for an annual cause. It's called Joshua's Walk, and it was started by UM student and Frost Band member Connor Brennan and his mother Colleen to honor Connor's father, Joshua Marks, who took his own life in 2009. Connor started the tradition in his hometown of Boynton Beach in Florida and encourages everyone to participate by walking a mile wherever they are. This was the 6th annual Joshua's Walk, but the first time the event collaborated with UM organizations, including the Counseling Outreach Peer Education, also known as COPE, the Frost Band of the Hour, and the Miami Hurricanettes dance team.
This is really important to know that you're not alone, that there are counseling center services, that there are other peers that care about you, and you never have to walk alone, and that you always have someone.
Frost Band and Hurricanettes rehearsal on the intramural fields, walking a mile around the field as they practice their routines. To finish the event, all of the organizations came together for a final walk in solidarity.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is closing the University of Miami's Life Alliance Organ Recovery Agency, which is its organ procurement organization. This comes after an investigation by HHS found 1 decade of systemic failures, including risky procedures, insufficient training, and paperwork errors. An organ procurement organization's job is to coordinate getting organs from donors and matching them for transplants. These kinds of agencies must meet federal rules and safety standards under HHS and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says this is the first time HHS will decertify an organ procurement organization mid-cycle. Life Alliance says it will not appeal the decision and will work with the government on a smooth transition.
A yellow brick road has appeared in Coral Gables, but it does not lead to the Emerald City, as in the Wizard of Oz. Instead, as Chris Perez tells us, it leads to a park that is dedicated to a trailblazer for the City Beautiful.
For the first time in its 100-year history, the city of Coral Gables, south of Miami, is dedicating a park to a living person. Dorothy Thompson is the city's first and only elected female mayor, and she's left an enduring legacy of civic duty, resilience, and a love for the place that has been nicknamed the City Beautiful.
She sponsored a lot of things. Probably the biggest thing that was her vote was the vote that saved the Biltmore Hotel that was in disarray, unoccupied, and it was her vote that renovated the city property.
Dorothy Thompson's tie-breaking vote to save the iconic Biltmore Hotel was a decision to restore, not demolish, a piece of Coral Gables history. The hotel was built in 1926 by George Merrick himself. During the Second World War, it served as a military hospital. By the 1980s, the Biltmore had fallen into disrepair, with many calling for it to be torn down. Thanks to Dorothy Thompson, that didn't happen.
It was like a spur of the moment, and I changed my vote
saved it for the Biltmore. And from there on, we renovated it, and there she stands today, proud as anything.
And now, the legacy of Dorothy Thompson is being celebrated with the creation of Mayor Dorothy H. Thompson Park. Its whimsical theme is a nod to Dorothy Thompson's name and her connection to the classic tale.
The first thing she said, oh my God, that's like Dorothy, the yellow brick road. Like I mean, I think the kids are gonna love it, and you can already see here, so many kids are here already enjoying the park.
It blows me away, almost like that tornado that blew Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz away, I think you might say. It is overwhelming. That's why I'm sitting down instead of standing up. At my age, I really, I don't want to be a spectacle and fall down, so I'll sit down.
From serving as a trailblazer for women in government to saving a historic landmark, Dorothy Thompson's impact is now permanently etched into the city with Dorothy Park.
All I can say is that life has been good to me, and I hope I've been good to the city, and I try to be good to people. That's all you can do in life, is do your best. And I think I've done my best, and I continue to do my best.
Chris Perez, UMTV.
Time for another short break now, but when NewsVision returns, a Saturday to remember. We will take a look at last week's festivities from college game day to game time against the Gators. And we will introduce you to one man who is on a mission to feed all of his neighbors. Stay with us.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
Of course I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
Target your tomorrow. And use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A is for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep. V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
Welcome to sports, I'm Noah Gully. Last weekend, college football's iconic traveling pregame show, College Game Day, made a stop in Coral Gables ahead of the rivalry showdown between the Hurricanes and the Gators. Between the spectacle, the fandom, and the moments, Manny Naccarato got an inside look of what made this episode of College Game Day extra special.
With the undefeated Hurricanes taking on their in-state rival Florida Gators on Saturday, ESPN's hit show College Game Day made its way back to the 305 for the weekend, and students lined up early at the University of Miami to try and get a front row spot.
Go at 3:30 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
2:30. College Game Day is here for the first time since 2017, and as you can see, no love lost here for College Game Day from the fans. Fans started lining up here at the school at about 3 to 4 a.m. So fans are excited for the season, and they're excited to be here at College Game Day.
I'm here to be hyped for the Hurricanes, to be hyped for the game, to be hyped for Pat McAfee, baby. He's gonna come, and they're gonna ask him, who do you got? And what's he gonna say? The Miami Hurricanes!
And Game Day host Pat McAfee did pick the Canes to win the only way he knows how, by making a splash. But besides the silly antics and pageantry that comes with the show every weekend, it's what it does for the community that means the most.
I think it just brings everybody together, and it's a really fun way to certainly spend our Saturday. And this will be national TV today, and it'll be awesome. The marketing, the brand acknowledgement, all of it. It's just a great way to showcase the U and all of our beautiful facilities and students.
And for the fans, Game Day coming back to Miami can only mean one thing.
It means that it's the pinnacle of all of this program's been leading up to for the past 4 years. I'd say that the Hurricanes have seen ups and lows throughout the past recency that we have, but right now, what Game Day means, it means that we're back, baby, we're back! To be a Miami Hurricane.
That was Manny Nacarado reporting. Pat McAfee and the rest of College Game Day definitely brought some extra hype to campus, leading right into the showdown between the Miami Hurricanes and Florida Gators. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the big rivalry game. So the Gators begin with the ball, and their first play of the game was definitely a tell of what they would be in store for the rest of the night with a dominant Miami defense. The Canes' first drive, Carson Beck delivers a short pass to Marty Brown out of the backfield, who runs it all the way up to the end zone, but hold up, he stepped out of bounds. They went straight back to Marty Brown on the next play, who hammered it up the middle into the end zone, giving the Canes their first score of the day. They continue the good work on the Brown with Marty Brown driving up the field, and the Canes would settle for a field goal on that drive. The Gators would try to make something happen, but then safety Jacoby Thomas gets the sack on DJ Lagway and then gives his best Ray Lewis impression, playing homage to a U-Miami legend. The Gators came out of the half showing some life with a handoff to Jaden Ball, who made the leaping dive into the touchdown with 6 seconds to give Florida 6- lead. But Florida would get stopped again by the Hurricane defense, and the Hurricane defense would put a staple on the game. Marty Brown, who again jumps into it. And awesome. Hurricanes win 26-7. Big win for the Canes. Following the big win, the Hurricanes jumped up in the AP rankings to number 2 in the country. That marks Miami's highest spot on the list in 8 seasons. Now on a bye week, the Canes look forward towards another in-state rival. They will travel up north to face Florida State next Saturday in a matchup featuring 2 top 10 teams. In other news, what looks like an ordinary Coconut Grove home turns into something extraordinary every Sunday. With no nonprofit backing and no formal kitchen, one man is feeding dozens of people after every week, right on out of his own backyard. And I had the chance of speaking to him and getting to know what is known as kitchen ministry.
When the time comes, the locks come off, and Tony Jamison's house on Percival Avenue becomes a place people can count on every week.
Before it started as we were just cooking a big Sunday meal, because I come from a big family, and it went from giving my neighbor a plate to people coming by, oh, you have something to eat? And I'm like, wait a minute. It really hit me that there's a lot of people that don't get, home-cooked meals throughout the week or just on that day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to cook an extra meal this week just for the community. And I started it one week, and years later, we're still going strong.
Jamison's friends, most of them part of the group they call Club 1700, show up every week to help make it happen.
We usually have a utensil person, we usually have someone who's serving the vegetables, someone who's serving the meat, someone who's bagging it, someone who knows how many the different people need different numbers. And like as it's always said, the teamwork makes the dream work.
I've been coming here maybe about a year and a half. He's always been kind and respectful and very courteous. He's a king as well as a chef. And I admire him a whole lot. And what he's doing is very biblical. You understand me? It speaks volumes, to freely give to people.
For Jamison, those words aren't just an idea. They're a way to live.
It's nice to be nice. That's it. It's nice to be nice. It only takes people don't know you could save somebody's life with a kind word. Or a nice gesture, and that's one of my things. And I mean, life is life, and so you know what? I always say I'm not down with a question mark on my forehead. Just live. Tomorrow's not promised to you, and so you just have to live.
Reporting from Coconut Grove, I'm Noah Gully, UMTV.
And finally, the wait is over. Bear Week is back, and once again, the internet gets to decide which of Alaska's brown bears is the most rotund before winter. This year marks the 11th annual bracket-style showdown where viewers at home vote for their favorite bear. As winter approaches, these giants are busy bulking up for hibernation. Thanks to plenty of salmon, experts say this could be one of the toughest and chubbiest competitions yet. The bear's seemingly endless appetite is caused by hyperphagia, a natural phase where the hormone that signals fullness shuts off, allowing them to eat non-stop. Bear 128, nicknamed Grazer, has taken the crown the last 2 years, but this year's contest is wide open, so make sure to find your favorite bear before the winner will be announced September 30th next Tuesday.
Well, that is all the time that we have for this week's edition of NewsVision.
We will see you next week, same time, same place. Have a good night.